Hey guys, welcome to LoveCast, the Boys Love podcast, where we talk about everything related to boys love. I'm your host Pixie, and with me are my co-host Alexa. And because Coco sadly had to work, we have with us Kayla from the YouTube channel Moonconsort.
Hey.
Hey guys.
Hey. So, since we're finally doing like an episode with just us, finally again, we have a lot on our list over what to talk about in tea time. I won't go through everything that's happened because there's a lot, but we'll go through the major points. So, one of the big news that came out a little while ago was that fans were attacking Sam's girlfriend. He's a main character in the Taiwanese show We Best Love, after she sang a song that Sam had said that he liked during a live stream. And they were saying that she was riding his coattails and cursing her for ruining the fantasy of BL.
Oh God.
Yeah. And like a lot of fans, apparently Taiwanese fans and probably around the world, think that girlfriends should be hidden during promotions. And if they don't hide them, they don't care about the BL fans and shouldn't be acting in BL to begin with.
Lord.
Interesting take.
Yeah. And the attack got so bad, it was on the actual Taiwanese news.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that.
You know what I think is funny? Like, she wasn't like, it's not like she's the type of thing where they just found out that he had a girlfriend. Like, it seems like they have been pretty public about their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember after the first season, Sam mentioned at some point that like his girlfriend, I don't know what word he used, but like liked, basically like enjoyed, I'm not sure what the right term is, but was like cheering him and you on during the kiss scenes and stuff like that. And like when that happened, everyone was acting like his girlfriend was so cool for like being okay with her boyfriend being in a BL ship and all this stuff. But now that like she's actually doing something that shows that they're a couple and like doing something relevant to their relationship, everyone has suddenly turned on her, and it's just like so tiring and frustrating to watch stuff like that.
Yeah, agreed.
And she's just sang a song that Sam likes.
Yeah.
It's not like he's her boyfriend. Why shouldn't she be singing a song that he likes? What is that? She was his girlfriend before he got the role in We Best Love. So it's not like she's riding his coattails because they were together before that. She's not a gold digger. She didn't come in just because of his success.
He suddenly had like a good show. Yeah. Like
It just always like amazes me the level of possessiveness that goes into fan service and the BL industry. Like I mean, we see this happen in other industries too, like for example K-pop, where people just feel like they own that person and that person should constantly be upholding the fantasy that they view them as, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's like it doesn't matter how realistic the actors are. Like the same thing just happened with Max, with him coming out and being public about dating Mook. Like it doesn't matter that Max and Tool have always been very explicit about saying that they're just friends, that they see each other as family. They've been like that for years. And despite all of that, it doesn't matter how little they play into the fantasy. The fans still see that they're dating someone who's not their BL pair and lose it. I mean, Max Tool, with Max, it wasn't nearly this extreme, but there are still those fans out there that were making comments to the point where Max had to specifically say that everything about his friendship with Tool was genuine and they weren't lying to the fans and stuff like that. Like, it's just so crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine having to like constantly prove your friendship and relationships with people to the public when it really is just not their business.
Right.
Yeah.
And people might say that it's their business because they're public figures, but this is something that's like completely separate from their work life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like they're actors. They're not this isn't like a different category or something like that being a BL actor. They're just actors. And like yes, they a lot of them have really close relationships with their acting partners, but that's because they need to have like this chemistry and trust to each other to do the part well.
Right.
So they naturally get really close through it. But that doesn't mean like they have to really honestly date. Like, why would you ruin like two men's like really good relationship because you believe that they should be dating?
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
Why does it have to be like dating love? Why can't it be brother love, right?
Yeah, but that's not good enough for people.
No. Yeah, we could talk about this for like an hour, but
yeah, honestly.
We'll leave it there. It's really bad and people need to stop.
Bottom line.
Yeah. So there was also some backlash from a staff member, we think, from GMMTV, uploaded a TikTok of Earth changing.
I did hear something about that, but I don't know the details.
Yeah, it didn't seem like he knew he was being recorded. So it's what people have an issue with. Like, okay, he's been practically naked on screen, but that is something he did willingly and knowingly.
Right.
And someone filming him without his knowledge while he doesn't consent to have like being on screen without his clothes on is disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they tried to they started a hashtag. It was Save Earth from Sexual Harassment. And even like his official fan club, like his Thai official fan club was tweeting about it too. To that point that like it got even to, because you know sometimes like international fans see things as more of an issue than Thai fans and vice versa, but it seems like this was pretty universal that none of his fans really liked how that happened, and the fact that he was on camera and they uploaded it to TikTok.
Yeah,
I didn't see the original. I didn't want to watch the original TikTok or anything like that. I just saw screenshots from it, but I don't know if they took it down or anything like that, but yeah.
And you know, GMMTV is known for not saying anything when stuff like this happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did mention that before.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, so we won't be getting anything, and Earth won't be saying anything because GMMTV will tell him not to. So we don't really know what he feels about this.
Yeah.
Like, for a default feeling for this, you should just think that it's not okay. And it's not okay searching for it, and it's not okay trying to find it. You should respect his privacy. And even though you know there's might be a clip out there, you shouldn't actively go and try and find it.
Yeah. Like you said, there's plenty, if you really need to see the dude shirtless, there's plenty of scenes in his shows where he's consented to being on screen that way. And you don't need to go looking for the ones where he is being filmed without his consent.
Yeah, like go watch A Tale of a Thousand Stars, or when the new, like, the whole dance. You can watch the trailer for the, what's it called? The one where they dance?
I know it, but I can't remember.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be a BL, I think, but like there's a lot of BL stars in it.
The Mama Go thing.
Mama Go Go or something.
Yeah. One.
Yeah, he's naked in the trailer. He's doing dance. So just go watch that instead.
Yeah, I feel like so many of these issues just come back to consent.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Of course, consent is, I think it's a very Western term, because I have gotten comments sometimes where people are like, I didn't even know that this was like a concept, which I think is a problem in and of itself, because then that plays into a situation like this where you're like, well, he is always shirtless or whatever, like you said, so he shouldn't be bothered by it. But it's just like he didn't ask. He didn't ask to be filmed and put on TikTok. in that way.
Yeah, I think I've got a really like harsh stand on stuff like that because in Norway, like I've grown up with the idea that you're not allowed to film anyone that doesn't consent to it. Like you can't, if someone is breaking into your building and stealing shit, you're not allowed to show anyone that footage. You can give it to the police,
Right.
but you're not allowed to release it and try and catch the thief yourself.
Yeah, that's pretty strict.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I think in America, especially recently, it's kind of been the opposite when it comes to crime.
Yeah.
Like you get everything on camera, especially with you know the things that happen with our police and the taking of innocent lives. It's kind of like when it comes to crime, like you record everything to make sure people are safe and to try and prevent something worse from happening. But that's a completely different end of the spectrum. Like that's trying to save people's lives, whereas recording someone without their clothing on, without their consent is never something you should be doing.
No.
Yeah, there's really no sense of vigilante justice in that you're not really helping anyone or benefiting from it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So the next one is pretty short, but people actually went to audition for 2 Moons 3.
Oh, you already know how I feel about this topic.
Like, we were discussing this in the server because, like, okay, I feel sorry for these actors who are gonna go into that hellhole. But at the same time, like, this has happened twice already. And if you go to that audition, you are sort of to blame yourself if you happen to end up in the same situation.
You would think that actors would do research on the companies before they jump into a contract, but I don't know. Like, is it a thing where actors are like, oh, you don't want to go to this certain company because of this and you'd rather go to this one? Like, is there insider talk around it, or are they just on their own?
So what I've heard from people I've talked to in the industry is that the actors themselves don't necessarily know that much unless they want to know. But the managers, they talk to each other a lot. So they have a lot of gossip amongst the managers. So either way, the managers would know about it.
Yeah, and they should know about it because part of managing them is protecting their image and just them as a person.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Pixie was saying. Like, you would think as a manager, you would know that going into a company and a series with this type of reputation wouldn't be good for their image, but I guess
really wouldn't.
Some people think the benefits of being in a BL outweigh that. I really don't know what the logic is there. Like, I can't imagine why someone would see being in this franchise as good for any artist image.
Yeah, and honestly, if you look at the pictures from the event, they don't look happy.
They're like, oh, we got ourselves in some deep shit.
Yeah, none of the actors are really smiling anything, or it just looks miserable.
Yeah, I feel bad. Because, like I said before, I just know they're going to take advantage of people's desperation to want to be in a series and act. And, you know, a lot of them probably do see it as, well, I'm going to have to make this sacrifice and bad things might happen, but I really, like, this is my dream. I really want to pursue this. And it's just so sad overall. The whole situation is so sad.
Yeah, because when you think about it, the like former casts that were wronged, they are doing pretty okay now. And they might not have gotten to that point if they weren't a part of the show. So there is an argument for it, but still, can't we just let that company die?
Yeah. It's like a way to get into the industry, but like at what cost? At what cost to your own well-being?
And I'm sure I'm sure there's a lot of situations like this that we don't even hear about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, I don't
Probably.
know.
We also, like, last thing, this was pretty big. It got big. The Mew plagiarism deal.
Yeah.
Some K-pop stands. What group were they?
It was NCT.
NCT.
Yeah.
I feel like I can speak to this because I'm an N-citizen. And I really do like Mew. Like, I guess, well, you should explain what happened first.
Yeah, so the fans of NCT were claiming plagiarism because the music, was it the video or was it just stills? It was the video, right?
I think it was the video, yeah.
Yeah, the video.
The music video he put out was similar to one of the members of NCT.
I think the craziest part,
it got to the point where Mew like had to set a whole press conference about like addressing the situation.
oh, it's so ridiculous.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
I think the thing that gets me the most about these allegations of plagiarism is that like NCT members' music video, it's literally just a cover of a song. Like,
oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
it's not even like an NCT song. It's a cover of that song "I Like Me Better" by
Yeah.
Liv.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And it's just so typical, I feel like, these days, especially with there being a lot more independent artists, where people would just go out in the city and like walk around and film their music video that way.
Yeah.
They were such generic settings.
Yes.
Like that could be in any city around the world. Like clearly it was in multiple cities, all those settings.
Literally. Like, I don't know. If you're going to say that's plagiarism, then you have to bring in literally every artist who has ever walked around a city filming a music video.
Right.
Like, it's so ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know if people are bored or what, or if it started as a joke. I don't know.
I think it's so interesting because NCT is under MS, right?
SM, yeah.
SM, sorry. They're under SM, and SM is known for copying other artists.
They definitely are. Yeah.
Like, if anyone is interested, go check out the League of Legends K-pop group.
Oh, the KDA.
Yeah, what's aespa? Is that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just search for aespa and KDA, and you'll see plagiarism.
Yeah. There are a lot of instances.
So I just find this whole thing ridiculous. And when people were pointing out that this is ridiculous, it's so generic, they started digging into Mew's past and bringing up art.
They brought up art, yep.
And they were attacking Mew for sexual assault.
Oh gosh. People treat the Mew art situation like it's a cardinal sin to even mention art's name.
Yeah.
And just as an add-on, because this happened, went on Twitter without doing any research of why this was trending. He said that this was like great. They're talking about someone's like sexual assaulting and it's a win and 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 the Mew fans got pissed off and started reporting his channel or his Twitter. and he was trying to defend himself that he didn't know what was going on or anything about it. But I'm just like,
okay, worse.
Yeah, you inserted yourself into this situation. What's wrong with you? And then he went on after he actually tried to apologize on Twitter, but afterwards he went on IG Live and was telling everyone there how he was being attacked for no reason on Twitter.
He just is always the victim. I can't, like, I don't even know where to begin with this because he just has proved himself to, I don't know if it's victimizing himself or just making a bigger deal out of things than they are. But it definitely was not a good move for him to be like, well, you guys shouldn't attack me because I didn't even know what was going on. It's like, well, then don't
then why did you
speak
on it at all? Exactly.
Yeah, right? He was trying to get brownie points, right? He was trying to get on the trend and just use it for his own good to show how woke he is. But yeah, it backfired. And just, it doesn't have anything to do with Mew, but on his IG Live, someone asked him why he was, or if he had permission to share Earth's story, right? The sexual harassment stuff Earth went through. And he said, why would he need that? It was his story too.
He played a part in exposing that it happened, but it's not his story because it didn't happen to him.
Exactly.
And he himself said that he was the one who took it up with MV because Earth came to him after it happened. And he made a big deal of it in MV, which got Earth excluded from everything. And this is something he's proud of himself.
Yeah. It makes me wonder how Earth must feel having the thing that happened to him constantly be brought up over and over again by and usually it's not to benefit Earth at all. Like, it's to benefit to make him seem like the good person for calling Motive Village out for this and helping to get Earth out of there. But like, I'm like, how does Earth feel about having to rehash this over and over and over again? Like, I wouldn't feel good if I was in that situation, but obviously I can't speak for him, but like neither can So I'm like, why does he keep doing so?
I mean, wouldn't there have been a better way to do something about it instead of just directly going to MV when it's one of the higher ups who is doing that? Couldn't they somehow gotten some information at the backline and then gone to the police or something? I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know how it happened, so I can't say to what was done right or wrong, but I do feel like it's very self-serving, everything he does.
Yeah.
So I can't think that he would do it to help someone else. Like, he only reason he went on this whole to get Earth out of the contract was to use him in his own show.
That's true. That's really true. And I used to think about it in like a complete opposite way where I was like, well, it's a good thing that he's bringing light to this and he's trying to get Earth a job. But just as time progresses, it just seems like you said, it's a self-serving thing that he's trying to do, and he's not actually trying to spread awareness or help Earth.
Yeah, because at this point, it doesn't do any good bringing it up all the time. It's happened. They've moved on. They have no proof. They have just their words for it. So nothing he does will actually help. And he's just starting to piss people off. And he's going to piss MV off. He's going to piss everyone off with this. Like, he might get sued for the call it what you want.
Who knows? Yeah. Anything's possible. I have some tea about
Yeah, go for it.
Actually, this isn't really like an insider thing because I was going to tweet about it today, but I got this email from a representative from that platform Gaga Ulala.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
And they were basically reaching out to me to try to get me to make reaction videos for Call It What You Want.
Okay.
And so, and then the thing they were like trying to bribe me with was that they would give me a free like 90-day trial or something to this.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't say why, but I was like, I'm sorry. Like, thank you for reaching out, but I declined this offer. Like, but yeah, God. I was going to tweet about this later on because I was like, this dude, he is probably burning so many bridges, including like one that I maybe would have made because of his online behavior. Like,
and
I just,
honestly,
between the whole thing with, I feel like exploiting Earth's situation almost, between that and him
and art,
using the author of Secret Admirer for clout. I was just like, I have no respect left for this person, and I don't want to endorse his future works.
And it's sad because like it's affecting other platforms too, because I now associate Gaga Ooh La La with because they take the same energy he does to things. Like they're always making comments under tweets. Like they made comments under the tweets of Motive Village doing the auditions and stuff like that. And I'm like,
sad.
You guys are going to get yourselves the same reputation that he has with a lot of people. And as a professional streaming platform, not for a multitude of dramas in LGBT media, like you would think they wouldn't be putting so much into sticking up for this one individual person to the point of sacrificing their professional image and that kind of thing. But it's just like, I don't really like want to watch things on their platform, even though there are shows that I am looking forward to that are going to be on there. I don't like their vibe right now, and that's because of the way they associate themselves with him and take on the same energy that he has.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
I won't go near Gaga. I don't agree with how they are acting in social media. I think that he's already been acting sus. Like, he got suspended with his original Twitter account, and there's a reason for that. And he hasn't gotten it back. So obviously there was a good reason for the suspension, or he would have gotten it back when they did the manual check of it. So yeah, I don't understand why they would sacrifice their integrity to support this man.
Honestly, if they were reaching out about like another show, then I probably would have considered it.
Right.
It's just the fact that has become so, I guess, closely connected with this platform and whoever runs their social media, it just does not vibe with me. It doesn't sit right with me.
Same.
But yeah, that's my tea.
Yeah. And that's the end of tea time.
We had a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, there were a lot more to talk about during tea time, but I figured these were like the highlights of the couple of months that's been. Today, we are gonna dive down into the show that is A Lovely Writer.
Yes.
Yes, because most people have probably seen it or heard about it. It's a show that depicts a couple, or the main ship is an actor and writer, and they use a lot of humor and shade towards the industry. Like, you get to see behind the scenes stuff, and there's a lot to unpack. And I've seen some people say that it's boring, and I'm just, yeah, well, then you're not paying attention, because there's a lot going on in those episodes.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, in just 5 episodes, they have touched on so many different things in the industry and behind the scenes that we're aware of. And I don't know. There's just so much to unpack there, like you said.
It's the dark side of the BL industry, to put it plainly. They've done more for like exposing than has ever done with his documentary.
This is what wishes he was making.
Right? He must be green with envy. So, like, just getting out there, in the first episode, the first scene in the first episode is Gene, the writer, writing a scene. And he's writing this, like, typical hot BL, not safe for work kind of scene, or the beginning of one at least. And he gets really frustrated, stops, and just like writes out like, this is sexual harassment.
Yeah, I was really taken aback by that. I was like, whoa, I can't believe they're actually even mentioning sexual harassment or like how it's romanticized.
Yeah. And he makes it clear that he's not comfortable with it too, and that he gets a lot of pressure from his publisher to include NC scenes into his work. So even right off the bat, like touching on that front, like feeling like they have to put certain types of scenes into their novels and into their series to make them attractive to the fans and stuff like that. Like, they just dove right into it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I was not expecting it to be, or I guess them to cover an issue like that and then continuously mention it.
Yeah.
And obviously, people, we are going into spoilers here, so if you haven't watched it, or don't like spoilers, you should just turn off. Like, one of the first scenes too is he doesn't want his book has become a show, but he doesn't want to be a part of it because it's not a work he's proud of, because he's been pressured too much by his editor to write it. And the fantasy show, or the book he wrote, is called Bad Engineer.
Typical.
So obviously they're making fun of the whole engineer uni
dynamic.
And the first episode, they go straight into casting.
Yeah, so much went down during the casting scenes. Like,
yeah, oh my god.
Yeah, and just the blatant homophobia around the table when they're talking about which actors to cast. Yeah, they can't cast the guy who is the most effeminate because he's too gay.
Yeah, but they can cast Aoi because he's just the right amount of gay, but still being attractive to the female viewers. Like, oh my goodness, like,
they literally use the words like he's in the right level. Meaning of gayness.
It's literally, and they talk about how this will give them points from the LGBTQ community,
but they can still market it. Oh my god. And then like the one guy on the team was like, well, why is it okay to cast one gay person but not another? And I'm just like, asking the real questions here, my friend, especially because we've had series that have been very blatant about their casting preferences, Two Moons, and stuff like that. So, like, just so, I don't even have words for how much I enjoy seeing the way that they bring up these issues.
And one thing that really stood out to me was the director mentioning, because he was afraid Jean was going to take over the whole show. So they kind of throw shade at authors who come in and just demand things. And the director of Lovely Writer directed Tarntype.
Yeah. I did make that connection.
Yes. So that's a comment towards Mame for anyone who didn't notice.
It definitely
It's well known that she's been very active on the set of Tarntype, and she's in every behind the scenes, she's everywhere. So yeah, demanding authors. I laughed so hard when I saw that.
Yeah, there are so many, and I guess we'll get into more of them, but I feel like there are so many instances in this show where I was like, oh, that has to be a reference to this actual thing that happened.
Yeah.
Like, they're slick with it. They really are.
They are. And there's probably a lot that we miss because we're not from Thailand, and like culture stuff we won't understand. But yeah, there's so much happening in the first episode. My jaw was like to the floor, and I was just what?
I don't think anyone expected it.
Yeah, I knew what it was about, the whole show, but I didn't expect them to go so hard at it.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely not. I thought it was just going to be this happy-go-lucky BL that maybe even exacerbated the issues that they end up covering.
Right.
So I was really shocked. I was like, wow, this is why people keep asking me to talk about it.
Yeah. Is there anything else you noticed in episode 1?
Episode 1. Let me look at my notes. Well, they mention or they acknowledge how there's this unoriginality and repetition of plots in the BL industry. They mention that because they're like, oh, another engineering BL or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that was also at the same point when Gene mentioned how he didn't want to put in too many NC scenes because then people would think that's the only thing that BL has to offer.
Yes.
Yep.
So, yeah. And, you know, his publisher pushing back against him and kind of being like, well, if you include this and write this one last book with these things, then we'll let you actually write what you want to write in the future.
I found it a little funny. If you see when the editor is reading his not safe for work scenes, she starts drinking really heavily.
That character
and
is
I'm
so...
just, yeah. And this is such like a show of like to show how thirsty she is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the only thing she cares about. That's like her whole shtick throughout the whole show so far. Has to include more NC scenes pretty much.
Yeah, it's just, it really is just like one thing after another in a row, especially in that first episode. I'm like, oh, they addressed this and this and this and this. Like, it almost makes you feel like, wow, I guess like fans are not just screaming into the void about these issues.
Right.
Like maybe
they're being realized.
Yeah, maybe they're actually being taken seriously now because I was like, wow, it was a breath of fresh air.
It was. I'm just gonna jump into episode 2. What I noticed from episode 2 was I started noticing the sound effects. They are very excessive. But someone pointed out to me that the sound effects, normally they use them for humor, but they think that in this show they're using them overly much because they're making fun of other shows that use them.
Yeah. I mean, the sound effects are like a BL staple, but especially like, I think I've kind of gotten used to it now, but like in the first episode and first and second episode, it felt like it was like every 5 seconds there was another sound effect. And I was just like, this is like excessive even for a Thai drama. Like, I thought I'd gotten used to all the sound effects, but like this just was next level.
Yeah, because I'm pretty used to it too. So it wasn't before the second episode that I really started noticing that it's too much.
Yeah.
And it has to be a conscious choice. Considering everything else they put into it, it has to be on purpose.
I wouldn't be surprised because there definitely are so many sound effects.
Yeah. And have you noticed the amount of like sexy music that comes on whenever like
music
follows Snubzip?
Yes.
Like when he comes out of the room.
Oh, the bathroom.
In like no shirt on. It's just like, ooh, ah. What is going on? It's like literal porn music.
The scene is kind of long too. Like they stay on the same camera frame for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes. It's obviously they're making a point.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else happened in episode 2.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I mean, we have Nubsib and Jean are kind of doing a method acting thing together.
Oh, the kiss.
Yeah, where you're like, oh, I just thought to myself, like, oh no, like later on in the series, are the lines going to start being blurred and they don't know if they're acting with each other or helping each other with the novel or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting because that did kind of come up again in episode 4. Episode 4, when Jean was drunk and was trying to... I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead, but I just made that connection.
Yeah, it's fine.
When Jean was drunk and was trying to like kiss Nubsip and being like, "Oh, you're helping me practice for the novel." So I definitely think they're trying to show Jean having confusion about what are his actual feelings for Nubsip versus what is happening, because Nubsip has been helping him practices kiss scenes and practice positions for sex scenes and stuff like that. So I feel like they did call back to that in episode 4.
It was giving me very much that Korean movie method vibes.
Yeah.
It's interesting because if you watch like in the beginning of the episode, Nubsip is using his role in the show and everything to try and sneak in on Jean, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you see it from Nubsip's side, you kind of get a glimpse of that he does actually like Jean. But if you think about it through Jean's eyes, then I would be confused too, because Nubsip keeps bringing up like scenes and I'm gonna help you write this thing, and right?
Yeah. Because that's like Nubsip's way of trying to get, I don't even know, because get on his good side, I guess would be the right term, by like helping him practice and find a way to be close to him. But yeah, it could definitely be confusing for Jean to be like, oh, well, this was just a practice kiss, so how do I know that Nubsip actually has feelings for me and he's not just joking around or doing whatever he was doing before?
Yeah. I think it's interesting, since we're just going for all the chapters now, or episodes. In the beginning, Nubsip is very aggressive, and he's sort of playing a part.
Yeah.
Like he's acting like Kin from the book Jean wrote. Like he's being really aggressive and just coming off very strong. Which also makes it sort of confusing because he's acting like Kin, so I understand why Jean would like think he's just trying to learn how to play the role. But you see in the newer episodes that he is softening up when he notices that Jean doesn't respond to that.
Yeah.
It's not because I think that he thinks that Jean wants Kin.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why he wrote the story.
He made a comment, I think, about trying to be Jean's perfect character in being Kin, and I don't think that Nubsip realizes yet how much Jean does not care for that story because of the way he was pressured into writing it. So like he doesn't know how much is actually like what Jean wants to write versus how much what his publishing company wanted him to write. So like we know that Kin is a result probably mainly from him being pressured to write certain things, whereas Nubsip thinks like this is the kind of man that Jean wants, so I have to be this man.
Yeah, because that flies out the window when Nubsip stops Jean from attacking him when he's drunk.
Oh, that scene.
You see that he's got really good morals. He's not like his other persona is just an act. Like he's really a good guy.
I caught myself thinking like, oh wow, he said that he doesn't want to do anything because he doesn't think they're ready. And then I was like, what is this bare minimum?
The bar is on the floor, but
literally like bare minimum. I'm
the
like,
fact
yay.
that we were all so excited that Nubsip wanted to wait for genuine consent when his partner was not drunk, and like that was like a huge thing in a BL. Like I mean, like, I'm really, really glad that it went that route, but also, like, the fact that we can't always expect that from the dramas we watch, and, like, it was a surprising thing that he stopped him and wanted to wait for consent, like...
Yeah, because no one expected it, especially because when they put out the, like, this little teaser for the episode, they kind of insinuated that they would be having some sort of relations.
Someone mentioned that, I think one of the Thai, like, BL accounts that I follow mentioned that in the novel, they do basically go all the way during that scene.
Yeah,
so
JBL said that.
Yeah, I'm so glad that they changed it and went a different route for the TV show. Like, that made me much more appreciative of that scene, I think.
This is like what I've been like preaching this for such a long time, but I mean, because in writing for me, I don't think standards have to be really as high as on the TV screen, because I believe like fiction is fiction, but when you get it on the TV screen, you have a responsibility because it feeds into reality, because it's harder to disassociate yourself when you see real people doing it or doing stuff. So I think that I'm completely fine with how they do the novels, but I think when they're adapting it to the screen, they need to change it. They need to adapt it for the TV screen, that it's not showing these problematic situations that could be psychologically wrong for people who don't really understand the difference between reality and on-screen fiction.
Yeah, there's definitely, I would say most people are going to watch the show and not even read the book, especially if it's, we can't just like pick up the Thai book and read it.
Right. Yeah.
So I agree with that. I think that there's definitely a responsibility, or a heightened responsibility, when you put something on air. And just the exposure that that's getting, and the more people that you're going to reach, you want to represent the story in the best way possible.
Like, often novels are written like a lot of years ago, and times have changed, so you kind of need to adapt it to more modern times as well.
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure the author of Together said this before, but whenever she talked about how the novel was written a long time ago, she's like, well, I wouldn't have written it like that now. Like, my thoughts are different now, which I think is a really good thing, and is something that should be acknowledged when you compare the series to the novel.
I agree. People change and their thoughts change. Like, I see that, like, what now I have completely different view of stuff now as over 30-year-old than I had in my like early 20s. I see things completely different, and it's not just like a difference in the time, it's also a difference in just my own beliefs and just what I learned through the years and understood better through the years.
Yeah,
so I think it's really good that they are doing these changes and adapting it so well.
Yeah, I think it's probably necessary. And I really appreciate the director for doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
It shows like they're really aware of what they are trying to put out there, the message they're trying to put out. And I find it really interesting that they are making you ship the non-ship, if you know what I mean. Like, the ship in My Engineer is Nupsip and Bad Engineer, sorry. It's Nupsip and I can't say its name.
Aoi, I think.
Aoi.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be the ship. They're supposed to be like the main couple that everyone thinks like should be together. But they are forcing you to see that that's ridiculous, and they are shipping you like with a person that isn't part of the show.
Yeah, it's so crazy seeing them try to act and Nubsib, and then seeing that they really have like no chemistry at all.
It's really showing you like the backside of fan service, especially from Aoi's perspective, which I know, Kayla, you said you hadn't seen episode 5 yet, but we kind of get more of his backstory in that episode, and it kind of helps you to understand why he wants the show to do so well and why he's pushing so hard for their ship to be believable. And there's like a couple things that happen on the fan service side of things, like trying to post a story and get good images for the fans, and Nubsip is like really not having it, and Aoi's like, well, we have to do this for the fans kind of thing. So I think it's also a very good commentary on fan service. We clearly see that it's going to become more of an issue in the later episodes as Jean and Sid become more romantically involved, and how that's going to impact the show and cause trouble for them. But even now, like, just the way that they are trying to, before the show even starts, like, sell the ship and and do all of that stuff. I like their commentary on that too. And I think it's a reality that a lot of fans don't want to accept, but I think they're showcasing it fairly accurately so far.
Yes. And like, it's really impressive is that they're making Aoi the villain. Until episode 4, he's a flat out villain, and like everyone just hates that he's butting into this. But in episode 5, when you get his background, I completely understand where he's coming from.
For him. They make you feel for his character.
Yeah.
And like you understand why he's trying to sell it so much.
I'm interested to watch it because I'm one of those people who are annoyed anytime he talks. Yeah.
That was literally everyone through like halfway through episode 5, and then suddenly you get like this whole slew of like his backstory, and you're like, holy shit, this poor kid. Like,
good. I've been really curious.
Yeah, they're making him a much more complex character than I expected, because I really thought he would just be there as a catalyst to get between Jean and Nubsip, but like they're actually making him like a pretty complex character, it seems, which is cool to see.
Good. Okay, there's this part in episode 3. This is a little off topic, but I want to know if you guys noticed it. And it's whenever they're filming Oi and Nubsip are trying to film the kiss scene. And Nubsip doesn't want to do it, so he makes the excuse that he's sick. And then the director implies that he's lying about being sick. And it just reminded me of the Mew art thing so much.
Oh my god.
It reminded me
I forgot about that part of that story. Oh my god.
I was like, is this supposed to be because of that? Or maybe not. Maybe a lot of people just fake sick to get out of work.
It might be because they are making commentary towards a lot of like stuff that fans are aware of.
That stuck out to me. I was like, am I the only one who notices that there's this like thing about him lying about being sick on set? I don't know.
Yeah, someone mentioned too that it's probably in episode 5, but the director is acting like
there was funny. That, and then there's also supposedly a direct call out to him, which this totally went over my head when I was watching, and I'm sorry, Kayla, this is going to be a spoiler for you.
That's fine.
But there's the hashtag Jean is not the driver is the thing that fans are using for them. And that's apparently a call out to the whole and what's his name? Kaprow, and the whole idea that was like driving him back and forth to set, but there was allegations that something was going on there, but Am was saying it was really professional. And so when saying like hashtag Jean is not the driver, they were saying obviously there's something more than a professional relationship going on between Nubsip and Jean. And I was like, that completely went over my head when I was watching it. And then someone mentioned it, and I was like, oh shit, they're calling out too now? Like,
that's so funny. That's so
They are not holding back.
Yeah. And it's the scene where people are like talking about the director reminds them of is the director is being he's making the boys kiss. And he's being really loud and moaning and just being sort of disgusting about it. Like hotter. And you know, is known for being really vocal about actors' physical appearance and how well they kiss and just stuff like that. So people believe it's like a call out to that. And he also, what does he say when Jean leaves? He said, wasn't this hot? And Jean is like, really?
Because Jean was feeling flustered watching Nubsip kiss him, and he had to leave. And he was like, the director was like, oh, it must have been because the scene I just directed was so hot that he was feeling flustered or something like that. And
And it's the scene I directed.
Yeah.
It was so hard. Like,
and it's also like the scene itself is like very, that was another one. The whole bad engineer, like whenever they're filming the mock scenes for that, they're just so bad and so over the top. Like it's like a call out to BL shows within a BL show. And the way Kin is like so aggressive and is literally like assaulting Namcha, I think is Aoi's character's name, is literally assaulting him a majority of the time, especially during like their kiss scenes and stuff like that. And they had Nubsip like call that out in that scene, but then the director was like, just do what I say. And I was just like, oof.
Yeah. Nubsip steps up and says like, this is sexual harassment. I can't do this. And the director is just like, no, you do it. I make the decisions here. Go do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, there's a lot to unpack.
And we're not even halfway through the show yet. Like, oh my goodness.
Right? Another thing that I really like is how they switch the roles of Tom and Tiffy.
Yeah.
Because Tom is like the makeup guy and all that, and Tiffy is really like badass.
I have such a crush on Tiffy. It's not even funny.
Yeah, she's so badass. Like riding motorcycles and just in general. But Tiffy thinks Tom is gay.
She thinks he likes Jean.
Yes.
Which, surprise. I really love this scene where they're putting makeup on each other.
Yeah.
I was like, it's so refreshing. And just like that moment of tension between them.
Yeah.
Right? There's some sexual tension there, and you can see on her face that she's like getting really confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. I do think it's also interesting that she probably has the assumption that he's gay because he takes care of his appearance.
Yeah, that's exactly it. She always makes commentary about his outfits and stuff like that and his style. So it's really interesting.
She sort of like treat him like a gay best friend.
That's exactly it. And I think she is confused by the fact that she like low-key feels something for him and can't tell if he's like flirting with her. But he is, and she's just under the impression that he's gay. So she's like, why would he be flirting with me? It's a really interesting dynamic, honestly. I do enjoy their scenes.
Me too. I really like it. I was like, they did it. The heads did it this time.
They made it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think in the future episode, it's going to be really, really interesting with the whole Aoi and his background and just his relationship with Mock and the girl, oh, that's a spoiler. The other thing is a spoiler. I won't say it, but yeah.
I'm excited.
I think the dynamic there is going to be interesting, but it's going to be interesting to see who Nubsip actually is, because it does seem like he knows Jean's family.
Oh.
Without us knowing anymore. We don't know anymore. It's just...
Yeah, they seem to be hinting that they're like old family friends type thing is what the preview kind of gave from the little bit that we saw.
Yeah, but then again, like the previews have been really fooling us.
They've been very
every time.
Who knows what could happen at this point?
Do you guys have anything else that stood out?
Only other thing I wanted to point out, which was also something that happened in episode 5, kind of going back to fan culture, when the girls were taking those pictures of Jean and commenting on how cute he is and how they were gonna like post them in their group chat, and that must be the guy we saw on Twitter. And then Nubsip came up and was like, you really shouldn't be taking pictures of him without his permission, and you know, I understand that you think he's cute, but next time maybe ask him first, which I guess is pretty relevant to what we discussed about Earth earlier. The idea of like getting consent from someone before you're taking their pictures and posting them, especially Jean, because he is not a celebrity and he did not, he doesn't want to be in the spotlight. He tries to stay in the background of things. So like the fact that Nubsip came up and was like, yeah, just next time ask for his picture and make sure he's okay with it being taken. And then that was just really nice to see.
If you notice that every picture of Jean on social media has been taking like stalker pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And someone took like a really, really close up when he's on Nupsip back when he's drunk. And I'm just like, how did they not notice that someone was that close to them taking pictures? What?
The camera must have been really zoomed in.
But it's creepy how many moments they have found and taken picture of Jean and Nupsip.
When they didn't realize like that there were apparently fans around watching them. Like there was the one they had pictures from when they were in the grocery store together. Like you said, the moment when Jean was drunk and they were in the parking garage. Like all these moments where I guess they assumed that they were alone, or at least no one that recognized them was around, and pictures popped up from it.
Yeah. And they're like not huge celebrities. So these have to be people who are actively following them around.
Yeah.
Which probably happens because we've seen like comments from companies telling fans to stop following their
private schedules and stuff.
Artists.
It's a very common thing.
Yeah. The only other thing that I noticed, I guess, was just that I really loved the scene where the friends all had like the reunion dinner.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't believe we forgot to mention that one.
I thought that was really interesting and frustrating, and I think that Tom is a great character.
Oh my god, yeah, when he stepped up for him after the fact. And that one guy, and the way that they were all like, it's okay if you're gay, like we like shipping and stuff like that, as if that's the same thing as being a supportive ally to your LGBT friends, and as if that excused them trying to pressure him to come out. And then he was like, I really don't think it's any of your guys' business. Like, oh my gosh. That one friend was pissing me off.
Yeah, because he gets offended that he won't tell them what's up. But I was just, through that whole thing, I was just thinking that, well, look how you're acting. Is it weird that he doesn't want to tell you? Like, what the fuck? Start being a better friend first.
The whole thing is so backhanded.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, they say, oh, we wouldn't have a problem with it. We would support you. But at the same time, they're mocking Jean for like this perceived femininity that he has.
Yeah,
and, like, putting him into that gay stereotype. So it's just so backhanded.
Yeah, they did that scene really well. I think it sparked a lot of conversation and a lot of support for Jean's side of this, because I don't think a lot of people are thinking about this. Like, they think that, okay, I support people that are gay, so they can tell me. Just tell me, because I support you, so just tell me.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of, like, if you see fans pressuring actors and stuff to come out, right? It's the same thing. It's really none of their business if whoever you're talking to, if they're gay or not. You shouldn't assume, and you shouldn't pry, because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's their private business. So trying to assume or trying to pressure an actor or whatever that you're a fan of to come out by asking questions all the time. Are you gay? Do you like boys? Like those obnoxious like journalists all the time.
Yeah.
I saw that they, at the award thing, Y Universe Award, some journalist asked the guy in Kin Porsche, Mile? Or was it Mile?
Mile or Oppo?
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was. But people were saying that he's made comments in the past that suggest that he might be gay.
Oh my god.
So this journalist went right out and just like asked him. And he was just like, well, people are what they are. I won't tell you because it doesn't really matter and you shouldn't be asking, right? Like,
Oh
that's
my God, that's so
paraphrasing.
awkward.
Yeah, so I think it's really bad, like with journalists trying to pry into these actors' lives and asking if they're gay or not. But they're doing it because they know if they have the headline that this and this actor said they're gay, or they might have said something in a roundabout way that might suggest that they're gay, they know they will get clicks, right?
Yeah.
So the problem isn't the journalist per se, it's the fans that are so interested in knowing the actor's sexuality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, if you want that to stop, you need to stop prying into their private lives.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, I could feel Gene's anxiety like through the screen because it's so clear that he himself still hasn't completely like come to terms or is open with who he is.
Yeah.
So they're just making it worse. They're probably pushing him further in the closet.
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably gonna have like a really long realization thing going through the episode. Like, we're getting 12 episodes and we're only 5 in, so
so much happened.
A lot of stuff will happen.
I'm really excited though to see how everything turns out.
Yeah, same. It's like one of the shows that's really, I will watch like the second it comes out on WeTV.
It's like I'm really excited about it right now, and I'm really enjoying it a lot.
Okay, so that's it for our commentary so far. We might do another one when it's finished, so there will probably be a lot more to unpack.
Yeah,
definitely.
So everyone listening, tell us what you thought of the show so far in the comments if you're on YouTube, or tweet at us. Our Twitter is in the description. Now we're gonna go over to Alexa, who has some upcoming shows and schedules.
Yes, so our currently airing and upcoming shows to look forward to. Trying to get it as accurate as possible, as always, to what things will look like when this is airing at the beginning of April. But if I miss stuff, cut me some slack. So for the currently airing, there is the Chinese bromance show, Word of Honor. I think it's finished airing in China, but the episodes like being subtitled for fans will still be going on through the end of April. And they get uploaded Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays on YouTube.
And Vicky.
Oh, and Vicky as well. I did not realize that, so that's good. So on Wednesdays, we have Lovely Writer, of course, which is on WeTV. Unfortunately, it's only available in Asian regions, so you will need a VPN to watch it, or they will upload the episode for free the following week on YouTube. So YouTube uploads are a week behind the show's airing. On Friday, we still have Brothers, the series, airing online TV. I have no commentary on that one because I still don't know anyone who's watching it.
Yeah.
But yes, that's Friday's online TV. We also have on Fridays the Taiwanese drama We Best Love Fighting Mr. Second, which at the time this goes out will be getting ready to air its finale episode. Everyone knows we're big fans of that show here, so we all would recommend it.
Go watch it.
On Sundays, there's another Chinese bromance, Killer and Healer. I haven't heard too much about it, but I have seen that the episodes are being uploaded onto YouTube. I'm assuming similar to Word of Honor, they're probably a couple weeks behind the airing in China, but you can find the subbed episodes on YouTube. And then also on Sundays, there is History 4 Close to You being uploaded on Viki. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not much to say.
I have no comments. No comments.
And then for the upcoming stuff to look forward to, or not look forward to, depending on how you feel about things, in April, Friday, April 9th, Gaga Ooh La La is Call It What You Want. Yeah.
Yeah, no comment there.
Once again, no comment. Also, starting on Friday, April 9th, is the GMMTV show Fish Upon the Sky, not Fighting Mr. Second. Fish Upon the Sky, which is taking over Tale of a Thousand Stars spot. That'll be on GMMTV's YouTube every Friday. Another show on Gaga Ooh La La, the Taiwanese show Papa and Daddy. The premise of the show I was actually really into because it's about a couple, like gay couple, like raising a child together and like the stigma that the child faces and stuff like that. But as I said earlier, I'm a little bit hesitant about Gaga Ooh La La right now, so I don't know if I'll be able to catch it. But the premise sounds interesting for any of those who are enjoying Gaga Ooh La La and would like to watch content on there. April 15th, which is a Thursday, there's another Korean BL web drama, Nobleman Ryu's Wedding. So it's going to be a historical drama. It has the cast members that we've seen, two of the casts from the previous, some of the previous BL shows in it. So that'll be Thursdays on WeTV and Viki. And then we don't know when it'll get or if it will get an international release, but there is going to be a Together movie airing on April 22nd. So from what we know, it's mainly a repackage of the series with some new scenes added in, including the wedding that they've been teasing for a while now. But it's mostly going to be, I believe, repackage of season 1, season 2. I know they said you'd be seeing a lot more things from Sadawat's perspective, and then some new scenes coupled in or peppered in here and there. So, but we don't know. I'm assuming they'll be releasing it for international audiences, but they haven't given any information about when or where yet. So that's the upcoming we have for April.
Awesome. So if people want to support us, we have a Patreon. Yes. And if you go and become a patron to the lowest level, which is €2, you will get every episode on Mondays instead of Tuesdays. And every tier over that, you will get more benefits. Like we post our full reviews with spoilers and everything there for everything over €5. And yeah, so if you want more content and just support us so that we can afford our editor and other stuff, then head over there. And thank you so much to our already patrons.
Yes, we love you guys.
It means a lot. Yes. And thank you, Kayla, for joining us today.
Thanks for asking me. I really
love your perspective.
This show, Lovely Writer, is so great. So any excuse to talk about it.
Awesome.
If we do another episode, we'll have to bring you back for if we do another episode on it.
Cool.
Yes. I'm in.
Awesome. That's great. That's all we have for today. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.